Bonjour à Paris. First of all, I want to thank to Omar, Ayman, and Elian for all their efforts behind the scenes in organizing this conference. So big round of applause to them because they deserve it. My name is Violina. I'm a software developer at Clip My Horse TV, co-founder of Front-End Queens. This is online community supporting women of tech. And you can connect with me on Blue Sky, Twitter, with Popova Violina. This is my account. So have you ever developed a feature that you thought was going to be a huge hit, only to find out that it didn't quite resonate with your users? Or maybe you had ideas of two designs for a component and you weren't sure which will perform better. We've all been there, right? That's where A/B testing comes in. A/B testing is all about comparing two versions of something, in our case, React components, to see which one performs better. It's like a friendly competition between your two components, and instead of thinking, for example, the button can be red or green, we can actually use A/B testing to prove this with data. So today, we'll explore how React component-based architecture can help in this process, and actually is quite efficient. And get ready to learn how to tell your tale of two components and unlock data-driven decisions for enhanced user experiences. So why should you care about A/B testing? At its core, A/B testing is all about comparing two versions of something, a component, a web page, or a single button, against a specific goal. We call these versions A and B, hence the name. And the real power of A/B testing lies in why we do it. It's all about moving beyond assumptions and gut feelings, and instead of guessing, I think that red buttons perform better. We can actually prove it with data. A/B testing helps us make data-driven decisions for enhanced user experience, as I already mentioned. Let's imagine that we are designing our call to action button, and we are wondering if it should be red or green. With A/B testing, we can distribute the version A with the red buttons to some of our users, and version B with the green buttons to others, and we can see which perform better. Simple, but quite powerful. Now you might be wondering what can be A/B tested. Actually, anything on your app that drives user interactions can be A/B tested. You can experiment with different designs for buttons or texts, and see which perform better, which get more clicks. You can also test different layouts for a product page. For example, you can experiment with placing images and descriptions in different positions and see which drives more user interactions and sales. You can also experiment with different pricing models or discount banners and assess their effect on user behavior, and which can drive more sales also. The key goal for A/B testing is data-driven decision for improved user experiences, improved conversion rates, and increased user engagement. These are all tangible benefits that comes from understanding our users' preferences. And the best thing is that A/B testing isn't a one-time thing. It's a continuous cycle of iterations. You test, you learn, and you iterate. The best way to perform A/B testing is to follow a scientific process. There is a little pre-work needed before ever creating your first experiment, and the first step is to study your app's data. Use analytics tools such as Google Analytics to explore the areas of your app that needs improvement. You can identify the pages with high bounce rate. For example, it may turn out that your home page has a high bounce rate. And for those of you wondering what is high bounce rate, well, this means that a large percentage of your users are leaving the page without interacting further, such clicking on buttons, navigating to another page, or engaging with the content. And also, this means that these things can be improved. And if the users are leaving your page earlier, this means that they didn't find what they were looking for, or they weren't compelled to explore further. The next thing we have to do is to observe user behavior. And we can use user behavior analysis tools such as heat maps, visitor recordings, form analysis, or on-page surveys to analyze what is stopping our users from converting. After we have analyzed our apps data and observed user behavior, it's time to create our hypothesis. A good A/B testing and any product in general start with the hypothesis of what we are trying to do. A hypothesis should have clear statement what we are trying to change and what is the desired outcome, and this should be grounded with data relevant to our business goals. The next step is the assignment. We choose the users to which we will distribute our A/B test. And the audience should be as close as possible to our experiment. For example, if our focus is new user registration form, our target users should be unregistered users, because if we include all users in the experiment, there will be users who wouldn't see the new user registration form, but this will increase the noise and we will not have the right data from this experiment. The third step for creating an A/B test is the variation, and we create and show different experiences to each group. This is an example which we at Clip My Horse did, and I will talk about it in a minute. And once we have distributed the different variations to our targeted user segments, it's time to get patient until we get the results. With A/B testing, we use statistics to determine the differences in behaviors, and there are 3 possible outcomes from our A/B test: win, loss, or inconclusive. As I said, this experiment with the filter button is a real experiment we did at Clip My Horse, and now we have the clear winner, and we know what our audience prefer. Now let's talk about best practices about A/B testing, and following these best practices will help you engage your users with the content, increase retention, and add value to your app, because at the end we all want our apps to be loved by our users and they to be engaged with the content. The first thing which you have to consider is to choose one variable to test. There are 2 possible variables: independent variable and dependent. Independent variable is the thing you change, for example, button color, headline text, etc. Dependent variable is the outcome you measure, for example, click-through rate, sign-ups, and so on. And why should we test one variable at a time? By changing only one independent variable, you can accurately determine its impact on the dependent variable, for example, clicks, sign-ups. This ensures reliable data and helps you make informed, data-driven decisions. And as example, I can give you, if you change both the button text and the button color at the same time, you won't know which change caused an increase in clicks. The next thing you should consider is to test one element at a time. Breaking tests into smaller parts help you pinpoint what works best without confusion. You should focus on one element per test. For example, headline, call to action button, form fields. And you should ensure clear result. Changing multiple elements makes it hard to know what worked. And the last thing is you should iterate strategically. Once you find a winning element, optimize further. You should tie your test to specific KPIs. Know what you're measuring and what the success looks like. Choose the right KPI, pick a metric that directly reflects the impact of your test. Track and analyze results and use data to validate your hypothesis and guide decisions. And examples of KPIs for A/B testing can be conversion rate. Are more users signing up? Click-through rate. Are more users clicking on our call to action button? Time on page. Are more users spending more time on our page? And bounce rate. Are fewer users leaving the page immediately? You should also set your initial test duration. And why does it matter? Setting an appropriate test duration ensures reliable results and statistical significance. Run tests long enough to gather enough data for meaningful insights. And key consideration here is the sample size. Make sure you have enough participants. And also the timing impact. If it takes too long, it may affect your results. And general rule here is at least 1 week for small tests and 2 to 4 weeks for tests involving significant changes or lower traffic sites. The next thing which you should consider is to test both versions simultaneously. And why is important? Running both versions, A and B, at the same time eliminates external factors like seasonality that could affect results. You should avoid also time gaps. Testing one version in 1 month and another in the other month can skew results, making it hard to know if performance changes were caused by the variation or by outside factors. And simultaneous testing ensures accurate comparison, allowing you to attribute performance differences directly to the change you made. And the last thing is to target the right audience. And why it matters. It's easy to define what to change. It gives you the proper context, and you can validate the assumptions easily. See what makes them take the desired actions on your app. And to summarize all what I've said, you should choose one variable to test one element at a time, tie your test to a specific KPIs, set your initial test duration, test both versions simultaneously, and target the right audience. Now, when we've heard about the A/B testing and have understanding about it, the scientific process, it's time to get hands-on. And I will walk you through implementation of A/B testing in React app. And React's component-based architecture is an ideal candidate for A/B test, and we as developers can easily create different variations of components which we can distribute to our users. And the first thing which I want to compare is feature flags and A/B testing. Feature flags are control rollouts, which allows us to toggle features on and off without redeploying. It helps for gradual release to specific users or segment, reduce risk by rolling back instantly, used for canary releases, beta features, and kill switches. On the other hand, we have A/B testing, which is used for experimental changes. We compare two or more variations of a feature. We measure impact on user behavior and business metrics. A/B testing requires statistical analysis to determine success, and it's used for optimizing UI, pricing models, and conversion rates. In order to set your React app for A/B testing, you should choose the A/B testing tool. And thankfully, on the market, we have a lot of tools to choose on. We can choose between Growthbook, Posthoc, Optimizely, VWO, Vercel. Here I've put Firebase, but Firebase can be used for A/B testing in React Native apps. But I put it because I use Firebase in my work quite often. For this experiment, I will be using Growthbook because it's a quite easy implementation, but the implementation of the other tools is pretty straightforward and similar to Growthbook. The first thing before starting with Growthbook as a tool for our A/B testing is to integrate Google Analytics with our React app. We have to create a new account or use existing one and install the React Google Analytics package to our app. And this is how you can initialize the Google Analytics to our app, and you can start tracking the user interactions on your website. The next thing is to create a Growthbook account, and you can do it by going to a Growthbook official website and create the account, and also select React for SDK connection and generate your client key to integrate it in the app. Once we have created our account and generated the SDK key, we have to integrate Growthbook React SDK into our app, and we have to install the Growthbook React package. And this is how we can do it. Growthbook also allows us to create the Growthbook instance, and Growthbook has a tracking callback function, which is triggered every time a user is put into an experiment, and it tracks the user interactions and sends the data to our analytics tool. The next thing we have to do is to wrap the app in a Growthbook provider, and this is how we can do it. We import the Growthbook provider from Growthbook package and wrap the app with it so that we can distribute our different variants to our targeted user segments. And we can also load features asynchronously when the app renders. The next thing is to create variants for our A/B test, and each variant should be designed to a specific hypothesis. Usually, the original variant is the one which we don't change, and the variant component is the one which we are using for the experiment. And here we have original component, which won't be changed, and we have the variant component which will contain the experiment. The next thing which we can do is to use feature flags in A/B testing, and this allows us to enable and disable features without deploying new code. Here we have a new feature flag, which initially is set to false. And if we want to enable or disable the new feature, we just have to change the value to true. And this is how we can do it with feature flags in A/B testing. The next thing is to encapsulate the logic for determining which variant to render. This gives your A/B testing logic separate from the rest of your app's code. And here on this example, the determine variant function contains the logic for presenting variant A and variant B, and it will be presented to our users if the user is part of variant A. And after we have set our app for A/B testing, it's time to track results with Google Analytics, and we log custom events whenever a user interacts with a variant. And here in our case, we have track variant interaction function, which sends event to Google Analytics tool, and also it contains the variable of the variant, and this will be sent to our Google Analytics, and later on we can analyze the results. One thing which we have to consider is the importance of control groups when running experiment. The control group usually represents the original version without any changing, ensuring you have a baseline to measure the impact of your modifications. And I already said that control group sees the original version of our component, and the test group sees the version which we are running the experiment on. How to determine the winning variant? After running the A/B test for some time, you have to analyze the collected data to see which variant performs better according to predefined success metrics. Here on the screen, we have the analyze result function, which returns variant A or B. And actually, this returns the winning variant, the variant which have highest number of conversions. Now I will show you example which we did at Click My Horse TV, and just a quick note what Click My Horse TV is. This is a video streaming platform for equestrian sports, and we stream horse events from all around the world, and as a subscription-based service we often offer trial month to our users so that everyone can experiment with the app, enjoy the content, and eventually become a paying customer. And we did an A/B test experiment to compare trial versus no trial variants, and I will show you the results from it. Objective was to measure the impact of removing the trial month on conversions rates and revenue, and the target markets were France and Sweden, and as key metric we had total paid conversion rate. This is the result of the A/B test, and in the green color is the control group with trial, and in yellow color is the variant without trial, and you can see increase in variant for France, you can see increase in variant for Sweden, and also in the combined. Now let's see the impact of removing the trial month for France. And results are paid conversion rate for the users without trial increased to almost 1%, with almost 1% to 9.31%. Direct conversions were increased, and trial cancel rate was almost 45%, showing a high drop-off during the trial phase. And conclusion about the France market is that removing the trial resulted in a higher overall paid conversion rate, which is success. Let's see the results for Sweden, and they are pretty much similar to France. Here, we also have increase in the paid conversion rate for the users without trial, but here the number is higher, 2.73%. We have higher direct conversions in the no trial variant, and trial cancel rate was 66.2%, indicating a high churn rate before converting. Conclusion here for Sweden, a stronger uplift in paid conversions compared to France. And combined results and the business impact of it. Without the trial, we noticed 1.74% increase in our paid conversion rate, 25% more paid subscribers when trial was removed, and lower churn and higher direct conversions across both markets. And the business impact, higher revenue per visitor, reduced churn from trial cancellations, and more immediate subscriber commitments. Key takeaways from this experiment are that removing the trial month led to a significant increase in direct paid conversions. Trial cancellation rates were too high, leading to revenue loss. Sweden showed a bigger uplift, suggesting potential for expansion. Now, how to avoid common pitfalls in React A/B testing? You should focus on a single variable to test at a time. You should set a clear hypothesis and success metric before starting the test. And you should ensure your test runs for a sufficient duration to collect actionable data. Conclusion from today's talk is that A/B testing is a valuable strategy for optimizing React applications. It enhances user experience and improves our performance, drive growth by methodically testing changes and analyzing results, and it can lead to significant advancement in app development. So if you are convinced that A/B testing is right tool for increased user retention and user interactions to your app, go try, test it. Merci.